5 years later, we take you to Jefferson City with an update on the recovery from 2019's tornado.
Storm shelters, severe weather preparedness, and how tornadoes are rated. What you need to know before, during, and after the storm.
Plus a look at the science of hail and the First Alert seasonal forecast. The KOMU 8 Storm Mode Severe Weather Special starts now.
This is the KOMU 8 Storm Mode Severe Weather Special.
Welcome to the Storm Mode Severe Weather Special. I'm Matt Beckwith.
I'm Beth Finello.
And I'm Kessa Cabellas. We have a lot of information to get to tonight, and it's already been an active start to the severe weather season with large hail across the state in mid-March.
Today, we're going to start with a look at things you should know before, during, and after a storm, starting with the difference between a watch and a warning.
A watch means that severe weather ingredients are available and storms may form. Basically, it means we're watching the potential. A warning is issued when dangerous weather arrives or will arrive imminently. When a warning is issued, you should take action to protect life and property.
When those watches and warnings are issued, they are issued at a county level. So it's important to know where you are on a map. Take time as you prepare for severe weather season to familiarize yourself with the county you live in and what counties surround you.
Now that we've covered some of the basic information that you need to know before the storm arrives, let's review tornado safety. KOMU 8's weathercasters Delaney Easter and Emmy Chirpick take us through the important reminders for the severe weather season.
The best way to be prepared for a severe weather situation where you need to take shelter is to have a plan and to practice it. To start your plan, you need to make sure you know the safest tornado shelters, whether you're home or out and about. You want to stay away from exterior rooms, upper-level apartments, or open rooms such as gymnasiums. You should never seek shelter in a mobile home or a manufactured home. The best place to go should be the most interior room of your home, or in a basement away from windows. Take time before severe weather happens to talk with your household about where your safe spot is. The goal is to put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible, and make sure your whole household knows where they need to go. Severe weather doesn't always strike when you are at home. Sometimes it can catch you off guard, like when you're out and about running errands. If you happen to be out on the road when severe weather strikes, here are some things that you can do to keep you and your family safe. Take shelter in a nearby building or business. If you can, the employees will instruct you on what to do. If there is nothing nearby, duck and cover in a ditch until it is safe to leave. You should never ever take shelter under an overpass or try to outrun the tornado. Don't stay in your vehicle as it will become a target to flying debris or become a flying debris itself. And never attempt to chase a tornado. Leave that to trained professionals and meteorologists that can safely do so. Remember these tips to keep you safe.
Having a plan for severe weather is great, but practicing it is what makes it perfect. You're going to want to check if your whole household can actually fit in your shelter and then time how long it takes you all to get there, pets included. This is a great time to come up to solve those problems that arrive, making sure who's going to grab the family pet. If you're moving mattresses or cushions, practice with those too. And also check on your emergency kit. See if you have water, food, non-perishable food, sturdy shoes for everyone in your household. And putting your plan into action reduces the anxiety that comes up in those high-stress take shelter situations. So it's important to have a plan, but practice is what truly makes that plan ready to go.
And the Storm Mode Index is what we're going to issue ahead of expected severe weather. It's a number between 0 and 5. A Storm Mode Index of 1 doesn't mean severe weather won't happen. It's just that the severe threat is lower. The Storm Mode Index is just one tool that we're going to use to describe the day's expected weather. We're also going to explain the uncertainty and the science of the threat. When we're in storm mode, it's critical to have ways to get weather warnings.
When it comes to weather warnings, it's important to have multiple ways to get information that are independent of each other. Your phone is a great tool, but it's useless if the battery is dead. KOMU 8 will provide storm mode coverage on air, online, and on our apps. Another great tool is the NOAA weather radio. These are available at most major retailers and are designed to wake you up in the middle of the night. There's also wireless emergency alerts that are available on your phone. Note that these come from the government and only include some severe warnings.
Once that weather alert goes off, it's time to seek shelter and get more information. One place we talk about seeking shelter is a safe room, but there's not as many as you would expect here in a severe weather prone area.
In Cole County, there's options, but safe rooms in particular that are zones that are identified there are no zones at which we consider safe rooms.
When severe weather hits, FEMA-approved public safe rooms are not always open around mid-Missouri. In fact, several counties in the region don't have them. So what should you do?
I would encourage everyone to have a plan now for what could happen in the future.
Nicholas Teetsort, director of the Office of Emergency Management in Cole County, wants everyone to be weather aware, even in a public setting.
Having that mindset when you're out at the store, it is still a good idea to think about those things when you're out within your community and making sure to have those plans. I think the first step to all of that, of course, is having communications plans and being in contact with your local news sources.
What if you're traveling? Maybe you're somewhere new and need to find a safe place to shelter. There's a website just for that.
There's probably about 1,700 shelters on the map.
Dr. Craig Cece created findyourtornadoshelter.com. That's where you can search where the nearest safe room is located.
I want people to know where they can go when there's a tornado threatening if they can't shelter in their home because maybe they live in a mobile home, or if they don't feel comfortable, or if they're outdoors or in a vehicle.
But mid-Missouri is not the only area with limited safe rooms.
In Missouri, a lot in southwest Missouri especially, because probably the memories of Joplin in 2011, and schools there especially, they just went nuts with building them, while in other areas they're more intermittent.
Teetsort offers some advice when severe weather is forecasted.
Having those plans in place and planning your day around that event is the most important, and making sure all of those communication lines stay open.
We reached out to several counties across central Missouri, some with and without safe rooms. You can find all of those on KOMU.com.
And after a storm has passed, the National Weather Service will send teams out to survey that determine the extent of damage. Here's a look at how that happens.
Really, it's important to get our tornado ratings right, or at least as close to right as we can, because it's all, to keep the science.
National Weather Service Warning Coordination Meteorologist Kevin Deitch says the science on tornado warnings could save lives.
We really want to know how bad the winds were, because the next time it happens, then we can warn for winds of that level.
The Enhanced Vegeta Scale, or EF scale, is a rating system used to determine the strength of a tornado by estimating wind speeds based on damage caused.
We look at everything. So, maybe you see a picture of a home. Well, right next to that home, there's a tree that's not damaged at all. So that maybe tells us something, that maybe that home just wasn't structurally sound. And so we really try to get all the context clues around the worst damage to make sure that, the damage surrounding the house or whatever it was kind of matches up.
The EF scale goes from 0 to 5, with 0 being the weakest tornado and an EF 5 being the strongest tornado. And the main thing the team of meteorologists at the National Weather Service looks for is the degree of damage done to different types of structures. For example, an EF 0 tornado would do minor damage to well-built homes. We're talking a couple shingles ripped off the roof. Meanwhile, an EF 2, that would take a roof off of a well-built building, and an EF 5, that would completely flatten a well-built home.
So we usually travel in teams of 2, and so we do this with an iPad actually. We go out, look at all these points, put in this information, and then it shows up on this toolkit, which is a really great resource because it allows us to kind of line up everything with the tornado itself. And so each little triangle that you see here, and I'll zoom in to kind of show this a little bit better, represents different types of damage that the tornado did as it moved along its path.
Deitch says the goal is to eventually warn for specific strengths of tornadoes.
The thought is, the better we get at warnings, we may be able to actually warn for an EF3 tornado versus right now we just warn for, hey, a tornado could be on the ground. With time, hopefully our technology advances to the point where people can expect a large, dangerous tornado.
That point may not be soon.
We're pretty far away from that, I think.
Still to come on the KOMU 8 Storm Mode Severe Weather Special, we'll talk about the science of hail formation.
And we'll check in on Jefferson City 5 years after the EF3 tornado. Welcome back. Almost 5 years ago, I was sitting in this studio covering the second night of severe weather in a row. We knew the day had the potential to be significant, and that's exactly what played out. A little before 11 p.m., a tornado touched down near Eldon, causing minor damage. This part of the storm was later rated as an EF1 tornado. The tornado continued to move to the northeast, eventually producing EF3 tornado damage in the capital city. This tornado was something many in mid-Missouri will never forget. KOMU 8 weathercaster Patrick Harrian takes us back to Jefferson City 5 years later.
Quite clearly, I think it was a miracle that no one in Jefferson City was killed during the tornado.
It's been 5 years.
Until you experience it, you will never truly understand what that is like.
A night mid-Missouri will never forget.
Jefferson City, the rumor was always, oh, you know, we don't get tornadoes here because of the river and it's hilly, and all those urban legends were completely proven false.
On the evening of May 22nd, an EF3 tornado went through Jefferson City. Buildings damaged, cars flipped. It was surreal.
It was devastation, and it was so hard to see because, you know, you don't ever want to see your community go through something like that, and seeing the faces and the families that had been directly impacted, you know, some of the hardest days in those people's lives. And we all felt so much like, what can we do to help?
And help is just what the people of Jefferson City did.
Anyone and everyone called, friends, foes, if there were any. I mean, just everyone called, offering up help.
Kevin Riley's auto dealership, now Rusty Drewing Automotives, saw buildings and cars damaged. It took 2 years to reopen the original site. Now, 5 years later, it is as important as ever to stay prepared.
For real, practice your plan. Do it with your family. Think of where it would be if it was during the day, if it was at night. What would you do? Not just a tornado, but any disaster, anything that were to come. Are you prepared? Are you really ready?
Scars of the past still linger, but recovery continues beyond just repairs.
Jefferson City is continuing to be prepared, continuing to work together, ready for whatever may come our way, showing that we're still strong.
Learning and moving on from the events of that night.
We're going to be better the next time around because we have gone through what we went through in 2019, and we learned from it, and we, as hard as it was, we grew from it.
That is absolutely when we became JC Strong, and we will always be like that.
In Jefferson City, Patrick Harrian, KOMU 8 First Alert Weather.
Storms like this reaffirm our commitment to you. When severe weather strikes, it's our storm mode promise to be here for you to keep you and your family safe.
Hail. It's been a big story between last year's severe weather season and what we've seen so far this year. Meteorologist Andrew Labie explains the science of hail.
How does hail form and where does it come from? Well, basically all hail is frozen water that is brought up into an updraft of a thunderstorm, and it crosses over this freezing layer multiple times over. And what that does is it starts to accumulate layers, which is how the hailstones get bigger and bigger. So the longer that these hailstones are lofted into the atmosphere, the bigger that they get. And in fact, if you walk outside after a hailstorm and you cut a hailstone in half, you can actually see these layers. And over here, this is just talking about the updrafts and the hail weight. So how the hail falls is after it's gained so much of that ice accumulating on it, it gets really heavy and it just drops straight down to the earth because the updraft can no longer support the weight of that hailstone. And you can get a wide range of different hailstones. You could get a 1/4 inch size hail from a pea-sized hail all the way up to sizes of a grapefruit, which is 4.5 inches, or even bigger than that. Typically, you'll find hailstones that are around the 1/4 size to about nickel size, or about 7/8 of an inch. Whenever you get into the 1/4 range, that's where you start to get in the more severe levels, the severe categories. Whenever you see 1/4 sized hail in thunderstorms, that's where they start to get issued as severe thunderstorms. Anything outside of that starts to get pretty rare, and in fact, less than 10% of all hail reports in the state of Missouri are 2 inches or greater. So if you end up finding a hailstone that's bigger than an egg, then that's pretty rare, but also probably not the best thing for your car or your plants outside.
Coming up, how to make the most out of the KOMU 8 First Alert Weather app.
We're always telling you to download the free KOMU 8 First Alert Weather app because it's a powerful tool that can help keep you informed and safe. Today I want to show you how to best utilize all of the features in our app. Let's start with the basics. Location-based push notifications. Navigate to your phone settings and find the option that says KOMU 8 Weather. Make sure to allow notifications and click Always for location services. This allows the app to send you severe weather notifications for your current location, as well as any other areas you select. Now that we have those settings correct, we dive into the other key features of the app. severe weather alerts. At the top of the app, you can select locations. If you've allowed the app to continuously update your current location, then you'll see it at the top. Otherwise, you can list many different locations. For example, if you live in Columbia, work in Jefferson City, and have kids that go to school in Fulton, you can add each of those locations. This works outside of mid-Missouri too. You can pick any location in the United States. Once you have all of the locations you can think of, you can click on the ellipses and turn on notifications for a specific spot. If you only want to receive severe weather alerts for your current location, you can make that selection in the settings. You can also turn on KOMU 8 alerts and choose the sound you want to receive when weather alerts are issued. KOMU 8 alerts. This is the most unique feature on the First Alert Weather app. By turning these alerts on, the KOMU 8 First Alert Weather team can send you exclusive video notifications. We mainly use this when big weather changes are coming, before, during, and after significant weather, and at regular check-in times too, like on Sunday night to give you a preview of the week ahead for mid-Missouri weather. These videos are only up to a minute long, but give you the most important information and advance notice ahead of all types of weather. Forecast features. Scrolling down on the home page or using the tabs on the bottom of the app can help you navigate to the latest hourly and 10-day forecasts, as well as an interactive radar. This can be used in real time to look at the current radar for anywhere in the country. As you continue to scroll down, you'll find the latest First Alert weather story. The First Alert Weather team updates this several times a day, giving you a deep dive into the forecast with explanations and graphics created by us. Live streaming. You can watch live KOMU 8 newscasts and storm mode coverage in the app. Click on this tab and you'll be sent to a page with 2 video players. The top one features live or most recent newscasts. The bottom one, titled Right Now, will take you to storm mode coverage, photo and video submissions. This app has one more very important feature. You can submit photos and videos directly to us. Just scroll down on the app, send us photos of the weather in your neighborhood, no matter if it's a pretty sunset, strange clouds, or hailstones. We want to see it. Your real-time reports help us help you. And if you can add in where you are, that's a big help too. The KOMU 8 First Alert Weather app is a powerful tool that helps keep you informed while you're on the go. Life is busy and we understand that. Download the KOMU 8 First Alert Weather app by scanning the QR code on your screen or by searching KOMU 8 Weather in the App Store or Google Play. KOMU 8 First Alert Weather is our commitment to notifying you first when there are changes in the weather, and this app is one of our best ways to do that. Download it today.
Coming up, a look at the pattern ahead as we head into the rest of spring and summer. You're watching the Storm Mode Severe Weather Special.
Welcome back to the Storm Mode Severe Weather Special. Let's dive into the outlook for spring. The first big part of this story is that El Nino is coming to an end. Remember, we had a La Nina three-peat, then we quickly transitioned to El Nino. That is going away. As we head into April, May, June, we really take on this neutral phase, and then as we head towards the winter, it's looking very likely that we will see a transition back to La Nina. Here's the general outlook from the National Weather Service. Temperatures likely going to be above average for April, May, June for a good chunk of the country. Now, as we transition to the precipitation outlook, let me show you this because we are slightly favored for a little more rain. But remember, this covers April, May, and June. This drier pattern out to the west is going to start to migrate to the east as we go through the season. And I think once we get into summer, we are going to be looking a lot drier. So with this transition away from El Nino, we are looking at an active April and May in mid-Missouri. I think we are going to see a robust severe weather season. I think the faucet likely shuts off going into summer. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to rain, but I do think our rain opportunities will start to dry up. And I don't think that we're done with the drought yet. Here's the drought monitor, and 6 months ago, you were in a pretty serious situation. We've seen a lot of improvement. I think we're going to continue to see improvement as we go through the next few months, but I still think we're going to be looking at the drought situation continuing. Overall, precipitation close to seasonal, active April and May, and then drier towards late summer. As we look at our temperatures, I think we're going to be above average. It's been a trend that we've seen time and time again, and I think that's going to continue as we go through the rest of the season. Expect humid summer days with heat indices over 100 degrees. The severe weather season likely to be active as well, so don't let your guard down as we approach the severe weather season. We're going to be here covering it. I think in terms of flooding potential, our lower chances are going to be of river flooding. The flash flooding threat is going to be a bit increased when we get these heavier downpours, especially in that active season of April and May. So we're going to be covering all of those threats as they pop up, breaking them down with our storm mode index, and bringing you the latest information you need to know every day here on KOMU 8, on the First Alert Weather app, on all of our streaming devices, all of the platforms to keep you safe.
Hopefully not overnight. I would like to get some normal sleep.
Yeah, me too.
Some normal. I don't think that's possible for your schedule.
Right, but if needed, we do the handoff and we'll stay here all night to keep you safe.
Definitely, for sure. See how it goes.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for this Storm Mode Severe Weather Special. We'll keep you updated.
This is the KOMU 8 Storm Mode Severe Weather Special.